So welcome, another live. I just finished a reading with a wonderful client going on a healing journey. And I wanted to just again tell you that I am setting up a Patreon. It's set up actually. It's on my link tree. You can check it out. I'm going to also set up Rumble. And I'm going to start uploading videos on Rumble, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it on Substack, but I'm going to do it on Rumble and BitChute. I'm going to find out about BitChute because I don't know if you guys know, but BitChute had to remove the ability for people in the UK to upload videos on their site or to create content for BitChute. So I'll be organizing different accounts. September, I don't know what exact date in September, I gotta check it out, but September, TikTok is gonna go through something, either a complete shutdown. I thought the shutdown was gonna be in March, but it turns out that it might not be in March. It could be that in March we'll never have access to TikTok ever again. This young, beautiful African-American soul was taught, and I'm going to repost this video. It was sent to me by one of my familiars, buddies on my group, Starseeds Awakening. And he's talking about his theories. And it'll be, in fact, I think I've already reposted it, so you'll probably see it if you go on my repost. It's accessible to you. Thank you for all the love. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I keep having these lives, but I really don't want to lose contact with you. So, and I need to, like, I have over 759 videos on YouTube, and I'm going to start uploading them on Rumble and BitChute. I'm going to find out what the fuck I'm doing. I mean, keep in touch with me. My link tree has a subscription. It says subscribe, keep in touch. But I will be announcing it on YouTube. And again, join my group, Starseeds Awakening. I'm not a big fan of Discord. I think it's very impersonal. I don't like it. Just a warning though, Starseeds Awakening is a very politically incorrect group. So if you're easily offended, it's probably not for you. But it is on Telegram. I'm only using Telegram. I'm not big on WhatsApp. I'm not big on Meta. I'm not big on any controlling system. The sad part is that they are circling the wagons against us. They don't want us to communicate. You and I both know we're not getting shit from Facebook. And I'm embarrassed to say, being a boomer, that these old boomers just won't let go of Facebook. They think it's fucking like the best thing since Swiss cheese on a hamburger. I don't know what the fuck they're holding on to that. When David Icke lost his account on YouTube, he went on BitChute for a while. And until I can upgrade my website and this and that, where I could actually run videos on my own website, that's going to probably be where I start holding some of my videos. Because YouTube is going to be asking for IDs, and which means if all you have is your driver's license, it means they have your address. Which I think is bullshit. It's a lack of privacy, because you and I both know they just shipped out a pedo back to Israel. So they're not really interested in holding on and protecting children. They're full of shit. So after The Sound of Freedom came out, which, by the way, I never saw, because I already know about that world, and there's certain things, it's not that I didn't want to support it, I just didn't want to see it. I didn't want to fuck my head up for like weeks. But I know I'm very familiar with that world, unfortunately, in terms of what's out there. And I've known it since I was, believe it or not, since I was 14, okay? And again, my parents never sheltered me. I just did a reading for this beautiful young lady who just turned 21, and her parents never raised her. They bred her, but they didn't raise her. She's raising herself. So we've got, and she doesn't feel good in her skin. We have star seeds all over the world right now that I don't know that have been raised, or I'm going to say it like this, okay? Not politically, bred, but not raised, not nurtured, not educated, not taught streetwise shit that's important for your kid. Because what if something happens to you? You know what I'm saying? What if you both die in a car accident? I'm not being funny here. Your 14-year-old needs to start knowing how the world works. the good and the ugly. Definitely the good. You definitely want to give them a beautiful spiritual compass of power, but you do not want to play games with your child's future, because you may not be there when they're 16, 17, 18. I mean, case in point, the father of my son died. He was only 58 years old, and my son was 20, trying to save his life. He died in my son's arms, okay? If I hadn't been alive, he would have been massively fucked. One thing we did do is we taught him how to understand his gut and the difference between gut, which is fear and flight, as opposed to heart frequency. Those are different things. One's primal reptilian, and one is the soul speaking deep wisdom and holy guidance. So, you see what I'm saying? So, I just started a Patreon group for $9.99 per month, and we will meet. I'll decide on a day, and we will meet 4 times a week for support on the Twin Flame journey and Ascension. Okay? We'll only focus on that. So you'll be able to bring your questions to me. And I'm hyper promoting it because next after that, I will give lessons. I'm going to like pull out some lessons for Twin Flame journey, because I'm hearing people saying some really awful things. And what I mean by awful, thank you for my love. It's good to see you. What's awful is the wrong advice from twins who are not in alignment, who are not in union, who are not winning, or who will never win, or they're giving advice for the 3D life. Sometimes you heal your twin not to enjoy the fruits of that labor in this life, but in the next one. Okay? There's really a nefarious agenda. I'm just going to say it. Project Looking Glass, MK Ultra, remote harming. I've done some heavy lives in the past, and they don't want you in union with your twin, or they want you in such staggered despair that you cannot fucking thrive away from your twin. And they're giving you bad advice because in some cases, your twin isn't going to make it with you. You're not going to make it together. Some of you will be in discussions with your twin, married to other people for the rest of your lives. Some of you will, at the last leg of your journey of this incarnation, will be with your twin for 2 months, for a week. I don't know. I really don't, actually. How could I? Some of you will have the beauty and the nectar of being with your twin and having their babies, and them dying sooner than you, or vice versa. Some of you will have a 30-year marriage, and it sounds like a lot, but it's not. Especially if you meet at 20, that means you're in your 50s, and one of you don't survive for whatever reason, because we all have soul contracts. We all have timelines where we have to leave. We're no longer, we have to move on. We have to, shit to do in other portals, in different dimensions and realms. And so these are the things I want to discuss with you, and I will formulate classes. There'll be handouts, PDF handouts, and we'll do Zoom, and we'll learn. And I'll teach you some of the things that I had to learn, that I had to experience, including the understand. Because you see, in my case, I met my twin at 18, and when I went back into union with my twin at 51, and he was 66, and it was amazing, right? The sex was great. We had a great time, but he had addictions. I had self-loathing. I mean, he had self-loathing as well, but it was from a different type of angle. I don't know how, I can't explain it now because I'm really kind of trying to explain the kind of classes I want to teach on Twin Flame Journey. And at 51, 52, 53, I was like, damn, I wish I'd been with him at 18. Why did I fuck up when I was 25? Why didn't I just call him back? So I was, for like the first 2 years, I was regretting not being with him sooner. And then when I went through the dark night of the soul, I realized, oh my God, if I had been with him at 18, he would have destroyed me. because my mental place at 18, my lack of self-confidence and self-love, my inability to hold myself up, I was so fragile. That's actually why I met him. And I started realizing, oh, we met for the mantra, the mala. A mala is a 108 bead prayer necklace, okay? And he gave me vegetarianism. And he gave me the Bhagavad Gita. So he gave me a mantra, a mala, vegetarianism, the Bhagavad Gita, and boom, 27 years later is what it took for our first phone call. I mean, I'm summarizing it. We had phone calls, but it was, you know, when I do the class, I'll give you more details if you want me to. If not, we'll move on. But and then it took another 6 years of separation. So we did not come into union until 33 years later. And it's normal to say, fuck, I should have just, what was wrong with me? But that was the point. That's right. I wasn't ready. I was wrong for me. And because of that, what we went through in our union was it was bliss and it was a shit show. It was war, it was hell, and it was heaven. And at 18, at 25, I was not equipped. I would have probably taken my life. Okay? And I think many of you can relate to that, having gone through the dark night of the soul. If you have not gone through the dark night of the soul, you cannot relate to what I've said. But every twin around the world knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. The only people that don't understand this are people that have connections with their soulmates or what have you. You know what I mean? But not real, deep. Twin is a whole different fucking game. And many of us are, of course, twins who are starseeds. Hence the image you see before you, the image of a starseed. The image of a sentient being with humanoid features from another realm, another planet, a consciousness. So one of the things that happens when you first incarnate on this planet, when we first started incarnating after Atlantis fell, some of us before, some of us after, we felt like fish out of water. We felt like we didn't belong. We never felt good in our skin. Because this was never home. And it wasn't that it was home because the planet's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. It was because the powers that be were choking our ability to express, to explore, and to share tribally, consciously. The Druids, and I have to remind you, the Druids and the Druidesses of the ancient Celt, the Gauls, were hunted down like dogs by various religion, sects. And was not safe to be truly ourselves. So join me on Patreon. I have a free Patreon, which at least you can actually keep in touch. Patreon members who pay get access to certain videos. And then the one for $9.99, we do the Zoom every week. And why is it so cheap? Because I want you to have access to having some good counseling, and I don't want to do it for free. Why? I don't want entanglement, karmic entanglement. You exchange money, $9.99 a month, for the frequency of energy, of teaching you, of counseling you, of helping you, and it's an hour once a week for $9.99. You can't beat that. And that's my way of like being in service to the Twin Flame Collective, because I really fucking want you to win with your twin or without them. I want you to thrive with them or without them. Every story is different. It's not a competition. It's not a mark of your failure. I have a client who I adore. She's like my sister from another mother. And her twin's fucked up. He's addicted. He's self-destructive. He makes tons of money. They're not going to make it. It's not happening in this incarnation. And I had to tell her, it isn't your failure. You didn't fail. You came fully awake, fully ready to put all of it. In fact, you put everything you had. And he harmed you, and he betrayed you, and he cheated on you. And he triangulated you, and he gaslit you, and he was a coward. That's not you. That's not a reflection of you. You didn't do anything wrong. In some cases, you actually didn't do anything wrong. For some people, that's the truth. And they're like, but it's my twin, I don't understand. Right, but that's not your failure. You didn't fuck up, they're fucking up. And you can't keep going down, running after them, trying to fix it. It will harm you. There's a great image of a person holding on. It's like a drawing of a person holding onto a rope so tightly they're getting a rope burn, right? And then it shows them letting go of the rope. I saw that like a long time ago. You can't hold on to poison. You can't take a cup of poison and think it's going to be nectar because you love that cup so much that it transform before your eyes. It doesn't work that way. It's not your fault. You understand? There's nothing you can convince them. They have to want. And there's nothing wrong with yelling and saying, well, you're a fucking coward. Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you tell me what's going on? I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with that too. Don't fucking swallow your words. I've seen people get sick over that. Physically ill. Call out your twin. You have nothing to lose. They're running anyway. Open the fucking door and let them go. Do you understand? But if you feel the vibration, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you know that you need to send them healing energy, then fucking do it. Do it. Because one of the things that I've learned, and you all know this, who are true twin flames, the level, the capacity of unconditional love that we hold for our twin is extraordinary. It's infinite. There's nothing like it. Parents don't even love that kind of, most parents, they don't love on that level of unconditional love. It's wild. You know what I mean? So when we do the class, when we do the Zoom support, it isn't just for twin, it's also for your ascension. I'm putting out, it's the weirdest thing, but because I'm doing these videos, like I'm doing like 4 fucking lives a day, it's insane. And I feel so urgent, like something is making me reach out to you guys again and again and again with different, hopefully, words of comfort to you. And I've been trying since 2023 to get you to know each other and follow each other and support each other. And I will not do Discord. I don't like it. It's very pedestrian. And it's not, that's why I did the Telegram group. It's fluid with Andromeda Flame. We run 2 groups, the Esoteric Book Club and Starseeds Awakening. And we talk about everything. We're very politically totally incorrect. We don't care. We're also very much about hearing the truth, dissecting the truth, excavating, finding lost wisdoms by any means necessary. We'll use ChatGPT, Google. We won't even do Wikipedia. That's a joke because anybody can control it. Books that we've read, we share and share and share. They're about to pull the plug on TikTok, which was where we got most of I'd say 85% of our information from each other. So my goal has always been to start a massive group, 1,000, 2,000 people all over the world that would eventually start their own group. That's the goal. The goal isn't to hold on to people. The goal is to say, okay, here we are. Okay, let's start groups all over the world. And because we're going to have to. Okay, and we need to be able to connect with each other on Telegram until further notice, because it's not going to be WhatsApp. And it's a beautiful way to do that because some of you actually are going to start traveling again, so join me on Starseeds Awakening. Have the courtesy to introduce. Don't just walk into my house and don't say anything. Start looking in my fridge. Fucking say, hey, my name is Terry and I'm so glad I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Don't just it's like wild. Just think of the group as a house. Okay? And just say something. Fuck. if you don't mind. You know what I mean? All right. I was wondering the same. There was a question. Hang on. Thank you, Tina. Will they be recorded? I have two jobs now. Oh my God, my beautiful. Will they be recorded? I can record them. They would be under a special, a private only link, which would be uploaded on, I don't know where yet. I'm going to say YouTube until further notice. Or I could actually send you the recordings, which honestly, to be honest, I think I would send the recordings via WeTransfer, so that it would be private. And then if I can make sure that BitChute or Rumble, I can do a private link where it's not going to go anywhere, or you know what I mean, then I could just send the links. But I think what I'm going to say to you is that what I would do is just get your email and then send it to you on WeTransfer, and you could download the actual talks. You know, that's what I would say. And so that means that if you don't want your name on these links, if your name is Tina, Tina, I don't know, Tina Steele, just change it to just Tina. Could be any Tina. You know what I mean? Like, make sure your Zoom does not have your last name. Just your first name is fine. Okay, is that cool? And you can put Tina Cat or Tina or Tin Cat or whatever. You know what I mean? But just let me know you're Tina. That's all. And then you're completely protected. And it's not like people are going to recognize your voice. And that really, we protect your privacy. But I do need to know your name so that if we have, like, I don't know, 20 people on a Zoom call, you know, I can actually call on you and ask you and talk to you like a human being, and then we'll go from there. But I think that's the way we need to do it. And of course, you don't have to show your face. You know what I mean? We can just stay like that, and then as we get more and more comfortable with each other, we can, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, WeTransfer, downloading the Zoom, WeTransfer, emailing it to you, and yeah, that's the way we're going to do it until something else happens. I don't want to lose contact. I'm learning so much. Absolutely. Yeah, just, I'm glad to hear that, by the way. Thank you. So if I were you, okay, thank you. I'll sign up. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, just do that. And then we'll figure out if it's on a Sunday. And I'd like to try to do it on a Sunday at like either 3 p.m. for my European folks, right? I want to make sure we have European voices as well. If we have some people on Patreon, then I want to do 3 o'clock on a Sunday. I don't want to switch it off too much, so we'll have to kind of discuss it and go, well, what's a good day, and then stake to that day so that you don't forget or you don't show up or whatever, and you can get the benefits of that. And I think it'd be important. Meanwhile, if you can't show up to the meeting, to the Twin Flame support group, Ascension, just send me a question. Send me a couple questions, which I'll read out loud, and then we can hash it out. You know what I mean? So that even though you're not there, we're still answering your questions, if that makes sense. Oh, how are you? Any questions on that? So, you know, I'm excited. We are being challenged. TikTok, losing TT is going to be a loss, but the universe is pushing us to stop holding on to this app with all our might. It's asking us to graduate. It's asking us to really make an effort to connect with each other. It's asking us to really join groups. So the Starseeds Awakening is free, okay? But this support group for Twin Flames, questions, this and that, it's not free. And that's okay. $9.99, I think most people can afford it. I made sure it was a good price. I hope you agree. And then on Patreon, you'll have access to certain guided meditations that I'm going to do specifically for the members only, the paid members. I'm just going to be honest with you on that, and it helps me maintain the work. You're kind of like tipping me so that I can continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm grateful for that. And also, it's a fair exchange of energy. I just worked on trying to co-create with the universe a new mantra using Sanskrit, and I think I mentioned in my last 2 lives, and I'm going to release that, and I think I'm going to release it to the Patreon members, you know, And we have different tiers. We have $5.99, $7.99, and $9.99. So whatever you can afford. But the $9.99 is the Zoom people, just so to make sure. And the $5.99 and $7.99 gets you access to content that I'm not going to release to the general public. And I have to do that, again, because I really want to refine some of the way I do mantras, the way I do guided meditations, and also the support group, and then eventually doing and very soon actually, it feels like this urgency to start doing these. I think Twin Flame classes, I think, is important. And just starting it. And yes, they'll be recorded. And all I ask is that when I send you the file on Weeks Transfer, please don't post it on your own websites, just please don't, share it like that with people. Just keep it private. When signing up, will it be listed as Twin Flame group, so we sign up for the right group? It's the one that says $9.99, and it has a full breakdown of what it is. It says exactly. You'll see if I did it correctly on Patreon, and I'll ask my son to help me refine everything. But you'll see a couple in silhouette with the red moon or sun. It'll be red. That's the one. That's the tier you want to go to. It's the $9.99. There's other tiers, and the other tiers are more. Like, for example, the highest tier is $144 a month, and you get one reading. I forgot exactly the details, but I think you get like 2 questions via text answered per week or something. I'm not sure on that. And then you have access to everything, including the Twin Flame support group, the Zoom call, and you get access to everything else. So I'm like bumping it all up, and I'm doing it because again, TT is going to be gone. And if you want me to talk about different things that are around what I'm finding out around the world, then we can do that in the Starseeds Awakening. But I also can weave that in to understand how it's affecting our ascension journey, how it's affecting your divine masculine, why it's affecting your divine or toxic or broken or wounded masculine. And these energies are hitting men differently than women for the obvious reasons. Because men are born protectors. When we incarnated as men, you and I, we had an instinct to protect the weak, the vulnerable. And so what's happening as especially very alpha or very highly saturated testosterone masculines who have good hearts, right? They are chomping at the fucking bit with what's happening. It is not their nature to sit back and do nothing and watch. So it's particularly hard for our divine masculines out there to watch the shit go down and feel impotent. Because you have to understand, just look at 10,000 years of human history and see how men handled business that was unfair, unjust. Okay? They didn't just sit on their ass. So this is particularly hard. And for the divine feminine who has had to work, who's had to go out there and take on the mantle of manhood while trying to balance her Shakti energy, divine femininity, that's been something that's been hard. We are the creative forces. We are the vessels of life. We are the ones that create a home. We are the ones who have counseled kings and queens. You understand? We have weaved cloth from wool, and we have just think for a second. Imagine when 500-600 years ago, when you would get the shorn wool and you would weave it. You would go into Zen mode. Similarly, men would carve tables, chairs, rocking chairs, and whittle, with knife, toys. But you go in, when you create, I don't know the last time you created, if you ever buy yourself like mandala coloring books, right? Let's say you're not an artist, but you love coloring books. If you do that, you go into, your mind empties out. Kind of like the way you see children drawing and coloring, their minds empty out. Similarly, when we used to 500 years ago, 300 years ago, and we were building and weaving and doing pottery all of that, knitting, cutting cloth. Do you see what I'm saying? We were going into a meditation, and our minds emptied, and we were walking around in clogs, in leather bottom shoes, and we were always getting the benefits of the electromagnetic current of this beautiful planet. A lot of things have changed, and not for the better. So TT is being removed for our growth, and it is forcing us to get serious about creating communities and connecting and sharing wisdom and laughing and crying and saying, am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. Support. Okay? So that's important. So hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions or comments? Anything else? I mean, you know, we're all going to lose a lot of our followers. And because they're not, I'm going to be blunt. If you have certain people, content, please follow them. Please ask them, do you have a mailing list? Please ask them. Look on their YouTube channel. See if they're on YouTube. Look, are they on Patreon? Are they on Rumble? Like just follow them. You can always decide later to unfollow me, unfollow other people. But for now, if you're following people, start going to each of your people that you've been following for the last God knows how many years, and start just going. Just take your time. But by September 15th, I would assume, make sure you have everyone you want to stay in contact with, all these content creators that you love, have them under your belt. Okay? So you're not going, oh, fuck. Like, you can't have an oh, fuck moment, okay? Because you're going to feel, because you're so used to the ease of just logging into TT and just getting whatever the hell you need when you need it, that when it's gone, you're not going to know what to do, and you will not know where to find your people. This is serious. Okay, I thought it was September. They were going to change hands, and then when we all had until March. Apparently, maybe I'm wrong. I'll do more research. To be honest with you, I haven't really looked into it, but I've been seeing other content creators talking about September. So I'll do another live probably Tuesday, and we'll talk more in depth about the actual dates. I'm going to look up the actual dates and deadlines that we all have to align. By the way, I did a collective ascension reading on how we're doing as the collective, and it's there as a Patreon member. You'll have access to it. It's for all members, so go on Patreon. It's on my link tree, and it's a pain in the ass. Just try to look for it. You'll see me with a backpack. You'll see these beautiful eyes of a drawing. And then you'll see me on the side with my hat, my straw hat, and that's the Patreon link. Go on that. Join for free if that's all you want to do, is just you want to check out what I'm doing. And I haven't been up on this for a while, to be honest, but I'm excited and gearing up, and I feel like TT shutting it down is, okay, Patreon, here I come. Here I come. Let's go ahead and start talking. One of the great content creators, in my humble opinion, I hope you agree, is Witchy Witch. I think she's amazing. I think she's highly fucking brilliant, and she's amazing. Like, you know, make sure you're on her Patreon. She's got a free aspect to it too, and you know, $9.99 is, I don't think, is going to kill you. And if you're depressed or you're going through something, you can be around people who understand why you're going through what you're going through, and you won't. It's hard to explain a twin flame journey to someone who's never had that kind of love and connection and sexual explosion, meaning like everything you thought was real explodes, and then you get, and all of the calcification in your root chakra, sacral, and Hara chakra just gets, and then, you know, get totally like blown away, and then it goes right into your heart. And then, of course, the monkey mind, the reptilian mind steps in and wants to protect you from whatever. And again, it's the weirdest thing. I mean, think about it. We've all dreamed of love, being loved and loving someone when we were kids. We romanticized love. We were taught the concept of pursuing love. And when we're finally faced with real love, you either shut down or run. Yeah. because the reptilian mind comes in going, this is dangerous. Because, well, in a 3D lens, it is dangerous because, you know, your mind is saying, this person could destroy me. If they leave me, I don't think I'll be able to breathe. And I'm a testament. I think that's why, it's funny too, before he died, I knew that eventually, that I would outlive him. There was a big age difference, so there's common sense, but you never know. But I knew that that was part of my journey, to outlive him and to talk about it, so that you'd realize you can't survive. Because their death is a death through the 3D lens, but it's not through the 5D lens. It's a transformed relationship. Eventually I'll die and I'll meet him and we'll hang out, we'll have a great time. And he'll tell me in more detail all the things he's done. Though I've been in meditation, I visit him all the time, whenever I want, actually. So I think part of the reason why I survived him is to share that truth with you, so that you can know how to harness your relationship. Even if the person, your twin, dies and you never made peace. Because when they die, even if you haven't made peace, they cross over, and now they know. And you have to open the portals of communication with them and say, I forgive you. It's going to be okay. Let's continue our connection now from this vantage point. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot here. You know, hopefully that makes sense. Let me see, anything else? Anything else? Do you still feel you can communicate? No, I communicate whenever I want. I was just saying that, yeah. So any other questions or comments? So join on Patreon, and follow me on YouTube until further notice, because if YouTube is making me pull out our IDs, that's kind of a sort of a control I'm not into at all. I don't need to share with people. I'm sorry, I don't need to do that. I'm not opening a banking account. It's a fucking YouTube channel. So we'll see about Rumble, we'll see about BitChute, and we'll go from there. And I'll let you know as I move platforms. And I'm just trying to figure out what else I can tell you. Though, I mean, for now, I'm going to stay with YouTube. Hopefully they're not going to enforce it to that level. Maybe they'll enforce it next year. I don't know. What I do know is that we are being pushed to come together. And they're removing our Linus blankets. They're removing our comfort zones once again. And this is so typical, you know, the universe. I was just thinking about you about an hour ago as I watched your video on TFs and twin rays. Oh my God, how cool is that? I hope the censorship stops. I hope we can watch 5D show its portal so we can walk through while the infrastructure collapses. You know what I mean? I've been through so much. I'm so sorry. So, Ghost, you know, I mean, it's not going to stop. It's going to, BitChute had to write a message to their UK, you know, partner, you know, like users, their users, you know, the people in England, they had to write them a message saying, we will be shutting down BitChute access in the UK. Because the censorship is unhinged in the UK. I will never I will never go to England ever. I thought I would go, you know, Glastonbury, you know, Cornwall. I've been dreaming of going back for decades, and something's got to fucking change, because I will never go back under the system they have. No way. I mean, are you kidding? Like, they're arresting 80-year-old nuns who want to say free Palestine, apparently advocating for the right of babies to exist. Okay, the right of babies to defend themselves. I'm not being funny. I'm actually using their words for something that really is serious, and that is against the law. To actually give a shit about a human being. is against the law. But in this country, as long as the human being is in your belly, in your womb, that's more important than you standing alive with a heart beating. They're okay with you losing your life while they try to save a fetus that's like, I don't know, 5 months old. You know, even though you're bleeding out. So we're living in some very interesting times. They're the end of times as you know it. Okay, as you know it. That means new earth. You decide. It's either going to be Mad Max. You get to decide. You decide the world you want to live in. I talked about it earlier today. You either want to live in Mad Max and you're in such fear that Mad Max becoming your reality, or you want to live in new earth. It's up to you. And this is some of the things we're going to be learning when I teach, Ascension through Zoom, and then I start organizing some classes on Zoom. You know, we have to understand what has programmed us not to believe, and how we capitulate to fear every time. Fear of the unknown every time. Why? And how do we free ourselves? Do you understand? The system and the infrastructure isn't the enemy. We are. Our monkey mind is the worst enemy. We are our own worst enemy. So that's what's happening. We need to grow and learn. Let's go. Yes. 5D, baby. They just want to shut people up whenever they want. I agree with you. What is going on is totally evil. I don't know why they're blocking you. I'm sorry. Yes, it is totally evil. I've been talking about that. I'm English. I hope it stops so badly. I hear you. Why don't you do some guided meditations? I'm not kidding. Because energy works. Energy works. And the way fear works as an egregore is that fear silences you, fear shuts you down, and fear is like a tsunami that never lets you take a breath. The waves keep hitting you and hitting you. You're gulping in water and gulping in more fear, and you start panicking, and that's when people have panic attacks. And literally people have lost their lives on a panic attack. People just literally lose their shit. So when you train your nervous system, she has a fabulous meditation on YouTube. Oh, which one do you like? Which one do you like, Jillian? Let him know what it is. If you can get the link, maybe give it to Ghost. I would say to you that you have to train yourself not to wish and hope and pray. You have to manifest. You have to get your nervous system in sync with your true heartfelt desires. And fear and a sense of, it's like you're putting yourself in purgatory. And that's not good. You don't trust yourself. Trust yourself. Ask yourself, what is it about me that I don't trust? Have you been raised by caregivers or parents? And when I say have you, I mean everyone, right? By caregivers or parents that said shitty things. You'll never amount to shit. You always fuck up. You're a loser. I mean, parents do that. Parents have been known to do that. Parents have been known to put a golden child on the pedestal and kick the scapegoat child. So that can really mess you up. So we're trying to get out of that. Thank you. So go ahead and take a screenshot of that. And then you can copy and paste Ghost. And thank you. I really appreciate that, Jillian. I'm going to get the link. Are there special ways you send TF energy if TF is toxic that you reach? Ho'oponopono is probably the simplest one to do for the average person, because it's simple. It's just ho'oponopono, and then you say ho'oponopono, the name. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Then you go right back, ho'oponopono, the name. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And for some reason, that dissolves a lot of blocks. And then you sage yourself, and then you sage them remotely, and you say, I forgive you, I forgive myself, I forgive you, I forgive myself, and I release you back to the universe with gratitude until you can come to me healed, or at least on a healing journey. Aho. Much love, you know, and it's that. Toxicity is the end result of a toxic society. You know what I'm saying? Toxicity, addiction, self-sabotage, self-loathing, self-doubt is all a reflection of a toxic society. You didn't come fucked up. You grew up in a fucked up environment that made you sick. You see what I'm saying? So, in a way, it's not your fault. But you are responsible for what you're going to do now that you know. You see? And you have free will. I keep talking about that. Free will, free will, free will. What does that mean? Well, use it. You want to lose? Free will. You want to win? Free will. You want to ascend? Free will. You want to stay in the cave of ignorance? Free will. So I try to keep it like it's not, we don't need to come up with like conflated words of elegant, new age ways to express really pedestrian ideas in a spiritual light. In other words, it's simple. It's not complicated. It's right there in front of you. It's around you. It's always been there. Reach for it or don't. Free will. Yeah. So, thank you. Sometimes I felt in connecting I was in a spiritual warfare. Well, I mean, if it feels thank you, Jillian. Thank you for the rose. If you feel like it's a spiritual warfare, then you gotta let go. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, at this point, I'm gonna be blunt, okay? If I were you, I would let go of this person and release them and say, I'll see you on the flip side of the moon. Not in this life. And be at peace with it and finish up your journey in ascending. I would do a final ceremony for him and then call it a day. Close that door. Not that you wouldn't respond to him if he reached out to you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if there's silence, ghosting, do a ceremony of release and forgiveness to yourself and your twin, and then move into the business of ascending before you drop your body. And I would say that to anyone. I don't care if you're 20 or fucking 80. That's what I would say to anyone. Get into the business of ascending. You do not have time to rock and back and forth in pain, go in a fetal position for months, unable to breathe or eat or thrive or be in your mission because your twin wants to lose. Your twin wants his distractions or her distractions. And meanwhile, you're bleeding out. No, it's a no. You will love your twin. I remember telling a client one day in a session, after, she's been with me for a while, and I said, can we agree on something? I'm really blunt. You know that. I'm kind, but I'm blunt. I said, can we agree that your twin is a fucking absolute toxic asshole? She goes, yeah. I mean, I said, if you met him and he wasn't your twin, like you didn't have that soul connection, would you like him as a human being? She went, oh no. I go, there you go. So do you think he's going to wake up in this lifetime? No, he won't. I go, that's right. It'll take a fucking miracle. Do people change? Yes. Yes, on a dime. We've seen it. Okay? But should you wait for them to change? No, of course not. Exactly. So what should you do? Realize that you love the soul of your twin and that he's a toxic fuck and it's time to call it a day and finish up your mission. That's it. You can be honest. Like my twin, to be honest, he was a toxic fuck. If you go back on my videos in 2023, you will hear me say, I don't know if we're going to make it. I swear to God, you'll hear me. I'm never going to delete those videos because it's in a way, it's a journal of what I was doing while I was, doing these lives. And I didn't think we'd make it. And part of the reason why we made it, and I'll tell you what it was, he went through the dark night of the soul, had never had one, not like that. He'd had a little melancholy, but he never had what happened to him. And I'll tell you more, I'll teach you more when we do these circles, the Zoom circles, the Twin Flame teachings. But you got to understand that sometimes it's kind of like a good mother, okay? She finds out that the neighbors have a kid with chicken pox. Now, I don't know if you guys do that, but in the 70s, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, when a person got chicken pox, everybody brought their kids so they could catch chicken pox, so they could, develop an immunity to it and not get shingles as adults. Do you understand? And the yeah, that's bullshit too. So people would do that. So when you're a good mother, you don't always protect your kid from everything. You actually go, yeah, I'll expose you to this, right? When you're a good mother, you're watching from far away to make sure your 3-year-old toddler, well, not too far with a 3-year-old, but like a 10-year-old, you're watching your kid interact with a kid, and after a few minutes, maybe you decide, yeah, the body language is not good. It's not looking good. Let me step in now and remove my kid from this bully or whatever's going on, right? So you sometimes expose your child, or you protect your child when you realize this is harmful for them, which is a good parent. So what happens with a twin is that sometimes the universe is going to have to kick their ass, and you have to kind of watch from afar. You got to be available to them, but you have to gauge that they need their ass kicked from the universe because their ego needs to be overturned. You see? And so it's painful because you'll feel it. You'll actually physically feel. You'll actually be bent over knowing that they're going through the dark night of the soul because you're getting cut up by it, remotely cut up. And when that happens, what do coaches do? This is why I'm doing these classes, and I'm starting to, because I'm like, I can't believe this. They'll say things, oh yeah, don't send healing energy because you will create a repulsion. When I read that comment on a very, very influential coach in the Twin Flame community, I swear to God, I had to hold back. I was biting my fucking hand. I wanted to rip him a new asshole. And I had to block him. I couldn't handle it. And I didn't want to, because what human being would tell you not to remote heal anybody you love on the planet? Does love really repulse a twin? Does remote healing repulse? No, it doesn't. It heals. And I know it because I did it. That's why my twin came back. I was ready. I was on my mission. I was full on mission. I was healing. He was healing after his dark night of the soul. And we went back into union for the last leg of his journey on this planet. You see? So you never know. But listening to some of these people who are not in union, and I'm just saying, never live with their twin. Yeah, to me, that's a big fucking deal. Okay? Never lived, never traveled. I'm sorry. I have problems. And you're going to... And me and Andromeda Flame did a whole live, and we exposed, by name, the ones that we thought were shit, and we gave you names of the people we thought were amazing in the Twin Flame coaching, teaching community. Because it's only fair. But we had to come clean because we're like, it took us almost 18 months of grappling with the idea of exposing the people we thought were very harmful. And finally one day Andromeda and I talked and said, and we both came to the conclusion, yeah, some people are fucking suiciding themselves over assholes like that, giving a very vulnerable person on a fucking post, on a video, that kind of answer. You don't answer those kinds of questions on a post, on a comment, because you don't know the entire story, nor do you even know a fraction of that moment when a person says, should I do that? You don't answer the question. You say, I can't answer the question. I don't know what's going on in your twin flame journey. There is no pat answer for each and every one of you. I'm giving you, that's why I'm doing the circles, because I figure at least I'd have the opportunity to hear your question, tap into your energy, and then answer it in a tailored way to you. You see what I'm saying? Because honestly, this shit's crazy out there. So that's why we need more coaches. How do we discern who's giving true information on it and who's misleading? What do you mean, how do you discern? I mean, think about it. How do you discern anything? How do you discern a restaurant's a good restaurant? How do you discern the bus driver is not a creep? How do you discern that a woman you're about to meet is going to be kind or she's going to stab you in the back? How do you discern that maybe you shouldn't leave your 3-year-old nephew with this person because probably they're not good? It's a hit. You just know. And this is something that you nurture and it's something you cultivate within yourself through meditation. Meditation gives you access to hits. You know on the spot, yeah, this one, yeah, good, boom, oh no, oh hell no. And body language reading, like I have clients who send me pictures, and like I'll give you an example. I remember, I think I was in my, how old was I? I think I was like 33 years old, or 34. And I saw a picture of my husband's sister with her husband. And I said, oh, they're about to divorce. He goes, what? What are you talking about like that? I go, do you see where, look, do you see where his hips are, where are his hips? I don't know, what do you mean? I said, look at his hips, where are his hips? He said they were facing opposite her. And I said, where are her hips? Facing opposite. I go, how, are they hugging? No. They're kind of leaning together, their heads are together, but their hips are opposites? And it looks fake, doesn't it? And he went, shit. I think it was a year later when she caught him cheating. From just so body language is how you discern. You can tell in body language where people are at. You can also look at the content of someone's character through looking at their eyes. Like Mother Agape was being interviewed with Tucker Carlson, for example. And you can, if you pinch the screen and open it up really wide, you look at her eyes and you go, that's a good person. That's a good soul. This person's not out for ego. When you look at her brother, George Stephanopoulos, you really look at his eyes, he's an asshole. And you can tell. 2 siblings from the same family, and one's good and one isn't. One's not really good. One's playing the game, hustling, getting his bags, as people say, getting my money bag. She's not. And you can see it. So discernment comes from not listening to what people tell you to do. You know, they'll tell you, oh, you know, this person's crazy, or this person's this, that, and the other. But you look at people's eyes and you really do see the content of someone's character through their eyes. And I've been doing this since I was 2. Swear to God, 2 years old. And my mother told me, we were in bank in Paris, and there was this absolute, she said, the woman was beautiful. And I looked at her at 2 years old and said, you're ugly. And it was her eyes. I saw evil. I saw unkindness or whatever I saw. It wasn't good, and I was 2. And 2-year-old kids, 3-year-old, they don't lie. They don't give a fuck. And of course, everyone in the bank line was like laughing because clearly she was beautiful. And I kept yelling out, you're fucking, yeah, no, obviously fucking wasn't there. But you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. And my mother had to hush me down. I was very agitated. I did not like that woman. So I've been apparently looking at people's eyes and locking in on that and knowing if somebody I could trust or somebody I should be careful with or somebody I could fully, surrender to, trust them. And it's interesting. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. So, no, but I mean, kids have that. You see, the difference between me and other people is that my parents didn't punish me for things like that. Didn't punish me. So I was able to develop it. We are all born with that. All of us are born. But we're constantly being told to be polite to Uncle Billy and Aunt Martha and hug your uncle or hug Grandpa Joe. And the kid doesn't want to. And parents shouldn't do that. It's like you want to raise a beautiful child and you want to have them respect boundaries and learn how to calm their nervous system, but you also want to honor their psychic, birthright, which is their abilities to read people. They can read. Dogs can read people, and babies. My God. It got to the point where my father was a businessman, right? He would actually ask me what I thought about certain people when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up until I was like 16. He would ask me, "What do you think?" And I said, "I don't know." Or, "No, they're fabulous," And he would ask me because I could read it. So, we all have that skill, So anyway, yeah, so let's keep in touch. Go on Patreon. You can join for free, or you can do the Zoom weekly call. We'll all determine a time that works for you guys. But I'm hoping it'd be Sunday, once a week on Sunday, and coaching and sharing stories about your journey. And be mindful, because it's only 60 minutes. So if you're considering joining that Twin Flame Ascension support group, just realize, just kind of like learn how to distill your story in such a way, like you don't have to go all the way back. But really, what you need to distill is the question: this is happening. What should I do with this? Why do you think this is happening? And the reason why I'm excited to guide you on that level. Of course, I do readings one-on-one, and you know this, but is because I was the runner. You see, that's the irony. I was the runner. So I've been on the side of the runner for a long time, and then he became the runner. And the reason why I was the runner was multiple things that I'll share when we meet. But then he was the runner. And his reasons for being the runner was not mine. My reasons were completely different. His reasons were completely different. But there's some personality traits that we as human beings share. And one of it that I can share right now is many of us, in fact, the majority of us, are afraid of utterly loving a person, and we can't figure out why they love us. And it doesn't feel safe. And it feels like the shoe, like it's too perfect. It's got to fall apart. That's a universal problem. We all share that. And so we actually think that at some point they're going to find out who we really are. And we don't. It's not like we consciously think that way, but that's ultimately what it is. If they find out who I really am, they're going to fucking leave me. Because people leave me. People don't stay in love with me. People don't love me. I'm not lovable. That's a universal problem on this planet. And so the journey of meditation and chanting, right, is the journey of self-realization, of finding out why are you afraid of loving. You know what's great about the movie Titanic? She loves Jack, and it's only a 3-day or 4. I don't even know how long it is. I don't know if it's a week. We never really find out, right? Or maybe I forgot. But she loves Jack. They make love, and then he dies. And she's not afraid of loving. She's afraid of not loving. Thank you. Does that make sense? So that was an interesting template with Titanic. I mean, it's all made up, Rose and Jack. But I'll give you an example of a failed ability to surrender would have been, say, the Wuthering Heights with Heathcliff and Catherine. They're afraid of loving each other, and yet they're mad about each other. And they are twin flames in action. I mean, if you honestly read the book. The book isn't that long to read, but the book, if you've seen the movies, various versions, and then you read the book, you get into the head of that, because there's certain like nuances in the book that they could not capture on camera. They just could not, like the ghost of Catherine. And so so you see the playing out of and the impossible love is impossible because these two people won't capitulate. They will not surrender. They will not bend the knee to each other's hearts. They won't. They don't feel safe. It's not safe. And what will society think? And what will my friends think? And what will my parents think? It's all of that. About propriety, about not disappointing my family, about not being, shunned by your family, friends, whatever, society. And this is still being played out. There are people, and you know this, are still being married under marriage contracts, arranged marriages. You know this. The elite do it. I mean, when you look at Ivanka Trump and who she married, what's his name, Jared Kushner, when you look at the man, would you fuck him? I wouldn't fuck him if you paid me $1 million. At my best, at 25, at 50, I would never, you couldn't put a pew-pew to my head. I wouldn't do it. So that's an arranged marriage. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen him sit there with, it looks like it's a plastic mask. So when I say arranged marriage, I'm not just talking about, various types of countries and various types of other, places and religious beliefs. I'm talking about the elite. So we see examples of that, right? And when somebody's brainwashed under a Stockholm Syndrome type of situation and your twin walks in to shake up your world, you're probably not going to leave because you've been well trained. The lobotomy is complete. And I've seen twins like that. The person will never leave. Never. They'll get sick, they'll get the big C, and they'll pass away. And the twin will survive and go, what the fuck? And the twin who survives, the surviving twin, it will be so devastated that they cannot continue in their mission. And I'm here to tell you it's your duty to continue. So everyone's story is so different and complex. And yet we share certain things, all of us as human beings, because of the environments we've had to incarnate into that created the lobotomized fear of being hurt when the very thing we wanted was true love. And when it faces us, we run. You see? So those are the things that we have to explore, if that makes sense. 3D love versus real love. Exactly. Was obsessed with Wuthering Heights when I was a kid. I know. One of the greats, right? One of the greats. Hang on for a quick second. I want to read what you're saying, Ghost. Where are you? Was obsessed with... Okay, hang on. Where did your comment... I couldn't hear what she was saying. Okay. Got you. So, let me see. What else? Thank you, Budsworth. So, Budsworth, follow me on Patreon. Okay, follow me there. Because I don't know if you were there or how long you've been here. But this live was about us following our favorite content creators. Because in September, TT is going to be... Something's happening with TT, TikTok. I don't know what it is. But it looks like we might not have it. I know by March it's done of next year, obviously. So I'm doing Patreon. Follow me on YouTube. I will be doing Rumble and BitChute, just to recap. And we're going to be doing a class on the Twin Flame Ascension journey. And we have a support group. Okay? So if you want to join the support group, it's going to be once a week. And then, we're losing our abilities to... We are being centered, and the reason why the universe is closing the gates, using the elite as conduits, they think they're actually deciding. The universe doesn't let anyone or anything be done without its consent. So the gates closing is so that we're no longer surviving under the breadcrumbing of social media content. We need to actually do more talking. Like, I'd love to hear all your voices, for example. Okay? And so we are being pushed to really seriously and urgently build our communities. Starts out with Zoom, and then starts out with, my God, you're in Idaho? I am in Idaho. You're in London? I'm in London. You're in Italy? I'm in Spain. You know, that kind of thing. And where you start meeting face to face, maybe once a week or once a quarter or once a month or whatever. And maybe, like I said, communities right now are buying land together. They're deciding where they want to live. They are deciding what kind of communities they want to build. And they are curating the kind of people that they want to include in the community. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what's happening. Okay? We need to now build our villages. That's it. So it's not a loss, it's a win. I will miss your lives when this app goes down. I know what you mean, but again, I'll be live on YouTube. I'll probably be live on Rumble, and we'll see about you know what I mean? So we'll figure it out. It's going to happen. So if you want to join the Zoom calls, support calls, join me on Patreon. It's right there. I detailed exactly what to expect. I detailed what we'll be doing, and I made sure it was priced at $9.99, so it's affordable. And then if you want to work with me, I have various tiers, and you get everything else thrown in, all of it. You know what I mean? So if you want to do a reading with me once a month, you get all kinds of other perks, access to videos. I'm going to start creating content only for Patreon members, some for free Patreon members and paying, and some just for paying Patreon members. And depending on which tier you go to, you can actually do a half-hour reading with me and get a text question answered, things like that. So that it starts, you start having whatever you need answered. I'll do it. What does a reading entail? Oh, a reading. The way I do a reading is the first thing I do is I need your date of birth, the month, the date, and the year. And I do numerology on that, and you can look at some of my videos on the numerology I've done. So we do that first. And if you have a twin, I need that person's numbers too. And if you're married to someone, okay, I need that person's numbers too. Because what I'm going to do in about 15 minutes of our 1 hour session is look at what the karmic bonds and links are in your numbers, your twins, and maybe the third party, right? And then we go right into the reading, and this is called a foundational reading, and this is to determine, is this really a twin, or it's to determine why you met, what you're learning from each other, and what the soul connection is. And then we go into solutions, and then I give homework, and usually books, mantras, links to some of my guided meditations, to my mantras. I'm going to start actually uploading more mantras. One for money, which is the Lakshmi mantra. I'll be uploading that. There's another mantra that's way longer that I'm going to be uploading as well within a week. And these mantras are very powerful. We know that they're powerful because they have a mathematical frequency link. Sanskrit is a very exact language, and because it's exact, I say it all the time, NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory and other companies are using it to code AI because it's so exact. But it also has a frequency, like Om has a frequency, and all of these other words that you put together elicit. It's almost like think of it as connecting on a frequency sound with God. Think of it as being a whale and singing your songs in the ocean, and singing your songs in the ocean floor that touches and soothes Mother Earth. And that sound frequency traveling miles. And so to me, frequency is that kind of purity of sound using the human voice. And so when you say, like one of my favorite that's so easy to learn is Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema means I am divine love. And so part of when I do a reading and I can see what's going on with the runner chaser, or the issues, or the stagnation, or the self-sabotaging addiction. Like today, I did a reading with this client, and I saw a man. And I went, did you just end a relationship with a man who is older? Why did I say that? Well, because I saw the King of Pentacles, which gives the impression of somebody who you can rely on, a father figure though. And above that was the Emperor. And right off the bat, that's My Way, the Highway. And below the reading was the, you're not going to believe this because I couldn't believe it either. Below that was the Devil. Now, in tarot, the Devil is Capricorn energy. The King of Pentacles is also Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo energy. And so I said to her, do you know his birthday? And she said, let me check. And it was January 17th, Capricorn energy. And I swear to God, I couldn't believe it. I go, he's not good for you at all, at all. And so I started reading more and going deeper. And but she didn't tell me she had just broken up with a man. It came up in the reading. I told her, and I asked her for clarification. So that's what you can expect from a reading with me. Okay? Hopefully it answers that question. If that makes sense. Mantras and my life completely transformed with abundance. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. I was fortunate enough to study under a true enlightened guru in LA. We chanted nothing but Sanskrit. Good for you. Her reading is amazing. Oh, thank you, Shannon. I'm grateful for the knowledge that you share. I've learned a lot. I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. So that's what, that's what a reading entails. When I do an Akashic reading, that's completely different. That's when I go into doing the four corners above and below and saging myself, putting myself in a state of meditation and connecting with the Akashic record masters and so forth. And again, I'm not going to get into details on that. But then I get details of past lives, not just on this planet, but typically starseeds, incarnations. And I talk about this one because it was the most recent one a lot. I did two women that I actually ended up meeting. They came over to my house and we hung out for like 36 hours. It was a lot of fun. But I met them through doing readings, and they're both healers in their own right. So they came over to where I live in the farm. And what was mind-blowing is that I was getting some very powerful downloads on her starseeds incarnations. And then I got the most pedestrian, I'm not kidding, pedestrian past lives. One where she was an African hunter, probably in the 1800s. And I saw that beautiful warrior minding his own fucking business, 1880s, had 2 wives, beautiful children, good life, out hunting for game, and got shot, boom, right in the heart. Okay? Now, when I told her this, she said, oh my God. And I said, what? And she said, I have a painting that my former stepmother gave me, she painted, of an African warrior with shield and spear, and he is shot and he looks surprised in his heart. She sent me the painting. She sent me a picture of it. The next thing I said is another pedestrian life. And I said, yeah, you were a Concon dancer during the 1870s. This would have been a different life, a different incarnation, whatever, or concurrent incarnation. But anyway, timelines. And there she was telling me that she had fought in her divorce for the shower curtain that had Moulin Rouge Concon dancers. And I remember saying to her, these past lives are pedestrian. The reason why they showed me pedestrian past lives that could easily be checked was to let you know that the starseed past lives, those starseed past lives that blew in my mind and yours, yeah, that's true. And so they gave me pedestrian past lives to make sure you could anchor to what was really important. Those past lives were not important. Those 2 starseeds, that was important. And so they'll give me hints that are and I'll sit there going, are you kidding? I'll say, are you serious? I'm gonna tell them this, and they'll tell them this. And I'll go, okay, I'm writing it down. And it's always and it's really not to entertain this mundane past life. It's for them to honor that past life as, an incredible warrior, or a starseed incarnation as an incredible leader, or so on. And in her case, she did have 2 starseed past life where she was an extraordinary leader. Okay, so that was what that was about. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. I love that you can answer the question, is he my TF? I have an 80 percentile success rate. Sometimes I can't. You know, every blue moon I have to settle with it's a high level soulmate. But like I had a client recently who she was like, the numbers she was seeing were all her numbers. In other words, they were all numbers related to her date of birth. And she didn't realize what she was seeing, which is normally, because you don't. You know, you're so busy, distracted, this, that, and the other. But she wasn't seeing what I was looking for. And what was shown in the cards, the downloads I was getting, it felt like, it was very interesting, because sometimes what happens, and this is again, you got to like open your brain in a more expansive way, because it's a mind blower, because we do have concurrent incarnations, we do have walk-ins, things like that happen, okay? And she was married to one and had a person who she thought was a twin, and I swear to God, these two men were equal. I swear to God, they were equal. And she said, you know what, they are equal. I said, no, seriously? She goes, I said to her, I almost feel like, I don't know, like they're having two different incarnations in different bodies, because even their numerology were the same, that like their life path was exactly the same. And I kept getting a sense that they were equal, except one was more advanced and could give her an easier life. Now, bear in mind, she didn't tell me anything about the personalities of these two men at all. And one was going to make her life very, very, very difficult. And she agreed. She said, no, you're right. Actually, that other guy, let's call him Joe. Joe's a better bet. Joe, the lovemaking is incredible. We have a great time. But I can't, I just feel like I have to be loyal to my ex who's addicted. And he's my ex, but I want to try one more time. I want to do one more try. And they were both equal in terms of the soul connection that she had with them, but one was more stable, more loving, more nurturing. He was older, but that had nothing to do with it. And the other one was much more so self-destructive that he could probably, you know how you try to save a drowning person? You can drown with them, you know? So, does that make sense? So it's interesting. Any other questions? So, yeah, you can have, like, I've had a concurrent incarnation that I had, and I felt the soul, I had a concurrent incarnation in Nigeria, and I remember feeling that truth. Let me see, I'm trying to lock and load on the timeline. I think it was in 2006. I'm trying to find the timeline. In 2000, yeah, I'm going to say 2006 is clearing up. That's when I got my Reiki master training with my Reiki master. She'd gone to Japan like fucking 20 times because she was really fascinated by Reiki and where it originated and this, that, and the other. And so she ended up being the person I trained with. She was from Kashmir. Incredible. She had like a double PhD, brilliant woman, but really disconnected from her root chakra, disconnected from sensuality. She was a beautiful woman, but but her affect was androgynous. Like she had become a devout celibate. And I'm saying this for a reason, because she was not complete. And I think that's why she kept going to Japan trying to figure out, is this real, is this real? Because she was a very analytical, cynical mind, but also a mathematical mind. And she finally decided, okay, I get it. I accept, I surrender. And so when she was training me, something happened in the healing room where I had a double vision. In other words, I was aware of myself in that room. I've talked about it before. And there was an argument between me, another woman, and it came out of nowhere. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't argue back. I was witnessing them arguing with me, and I wasn't, connecting with them. And suddenly I had a flashback where we were in Nigeria. We were African women, and we were having a fight. And then I went after that, and then after it ended, everything was like nothing had happened. It was the weirdest thing. Like everyone, like these two women, like my Reiki master teacher and my friend, it was like we'd been hypnotized. Anyway, after that, of course, and this is what I do, I went into meditation going, what the fuck was that? You know, I mean, what the hell what was that? And I realized that in my meditation that this was in concurrent incarnation, that we had a scene concurrently happening, and that somehow we had breached portals of times, separation, the illusion of separation, and we had just we were living something happening exactly at the same time. It was wild. And so I would every blue moon connect to this woman in that part of the world, and then one day out of nowhere I went, oh my gosh, she died. And it felt like a sense of relief. And so I did a meditation for soul retrieval to bring all of my, all of me back. In other words, her back into me. And so that sounds very woohoo. Trust me, I know that. I know it sounds absolutely woohoo. And I'm not going to ask you to believe everything I say. I'm going to ask you to just feel it. Now, on walk-ins, the first time I heard about a walk-in was from a movie called Heaven Can Wait, which came out in the 70s, and it was a remake of a movie called Heaven Can Wait from the 1939 or 1940s something. And so it's funny because when I first came to this country, I used to watch a lot of black and white movies at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's how it was, TVs in the 80s. And it was interesting because a lot of these movies, these like funny, like somewhat comedian romantic comedies from the 1940s really dwelled into like psychic shit, walk-ins, ghosts, things like that. That was big. Witches or people with magical powers, and it was big. And so the next time I really realized that walk-ins weren't just a movie thing was when I read Rampati Lobsang's books on his life in Tibet, and how he had taken he was a walk-in through a British gentleman. I think it was in the 1940s or 50s. I think it was like early 50s. And when you read his books on Tibet, his life as a monk in Tibet, they're like, you got to read them and realize when you read the details of what he says about his life in Tibet, it's too fucking detailed. There was no internet. There's no way he would know all that. And the books were written in such a fluid way. And so he wrote a letter explaining how he had been a walk-in, how it had happened. And his wife supported him, saying, yeah, that's not the man I married. This is a different man. So walk-ins exist, and usually walk-ins are highly evolved souls that don't want to be diapered, they don't want to be burped, they don't want to go through the birth canal, they don't want to go to school, they don't need any of that. What they need, and what they'll do, is a person will say, I'm so sick of this incarnate, like I can't stand it. And so there's a soul contract where the soul says, okay, Billy, let's call him Billy. Billy's sick of life. Billy doesn't want to do this. And Billy's like 48. And this highly evolved soul's thinking, I need a vessel, but I'm not going through this shit again. And I got stuff to do. And I've got 8 years to get it all done. So Billy is in a car accident, hits his head on the windshield, but everything's good. He comes back to, but when he comes back to, it's this walk-in that's taken over, and Billy has left the building, left the body. So walk-ins, again, a lot of these things, England is kind of famous for their occult studies and their training. They have psychic schools, and they have them here too, but I'm talking about they really take that shit seriously in England. And walk-ins is part of that understanding. This is not woohoo. This is like talked about. And people know. People who know, you know? And so it's just a matter of just exposing yourself to stuff like that. Let me see. Let me see. Do you do unlight Reiki? Honestly, no. And I'll tell you why. Because I would not do it on a screen where I don't know you, I don't know your energy. I do guided meditations, and that is probably the most authentic thing, in my opinion, I can give you. I'm not saying that people can't do Reiki energy on screen, you know what I mean? But let's put it that way. I'm not really convinced, and that's just maybe it's just me. Not, it doesn't mean I'm correct. It means it doesn't resonate with me. Do I think people can heal by touch alone? Absolutely. Do I think people can remote heal? Absolutely. But I honestly think that, how do I put it? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. The girl I was telling you about, that was my friend. We were all yelling in Africa. Okay. This girl had never been trained in Reiki. She was actually getting her training with me on the same day. And we've been training for a while, right? Where we're doing a huge clinic of training of healing people coming in for a stipend, right? So that was part of our training. But anyway, she was incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. And when she would do Reiki on me, I felt everything buzzing. Okay? Where her hands hovering over me and you know, doing her work, right? But I've had other Reiki, supposed Reiki teacher masters do their work with me, and nothing, zero, nothing, felt nothing. So I think it would take an extraordinary talented person to actually send Reiki energy through a screen, because very few people can even do it face to face. Does that make sense? And she was mad. By the way, we fell out. And part of the reason why we fell out is she was telepathic, and it was driving her crazy, and she started taking medications to shut down her ability to do it. And part of the thing that made me sad and I couldn't watch it is I had a friend before who had done the same thing, lithium, and it destroyed her. And I saw this friend getting destroyed by her ferocity to lobotomize her psychic and her healing abilities, and I could. It's like watching a train wreck. I'm not into watching train wrecks. I don't take any pleasure in that. So we faded out of each other's lives. But what I will say is, in my whole entire incarnation of working with a lot of healers, I've only had 3 Reiki people blow my mind. One of them was my teacher, you know. One of them was her. And one other person, which I'm trying to track. And recently, one of these women that I did the Akashic, who came over, we did some trades, and she did a healing session on my body, and it was fucking mind-blowing. And she was self-taught. She's a shaman. And she didn't take classes. It's just, some people are just born with it. There's certain things you just can't teach. You're either, typically, you're born with it, and you get the training to refine it. Does that make sense? But you already have it. And energy healing isn't something you can teach. It's something you either have or you don't. Psychic training, you can teach. Remote viewing, you can teach. Reading tarot, you can teach. But healing, yeah, that's something different. That's totally different. My twin had a healing touch. My husband had a healing touch. They both were incredibly talented. My friend did it on me, and I saw her light moving around as she moved. Very good. I knew a healer who was a walk-in who said she just wanted to be about healing and didn't want to learn. Well, I mean, she probably didn't need to learn. Wow. Meds are horrible. They make people decline. Well, I mean, I've never seen a good thing about it, you know, to me. I mean, it is what it is, you know. And so the other good news is they're saying that there's a ship coming. It could be November, could be next month. Who knows? Everything can be transmuted. So I would say, yeah, just expect the best. Expect the best. But also look up Project Bluebeam. like make sure you know what's going on, okay? It's time to look at conspiracy theorists and to discern. Only you can decide what is real and what is not. I can't decide for you. You have to decide. We can discuss it. I can convince you X, Y, and Z. I can show logical thinking on why that's possible or this is possible. The other, but you have to start reading up. I'm asking you to start reading up on some things that might be coming up soon, that might be used to manipulate the masses. And that's not paranoia, that's just facts. Again, if you don't know what an egregore is, please study egregore. There are books on egregores, on the study of egregore, and I've talked about it with my buddy, Andromeda Flame. Are we talking about the spaceship or ocean ships? No, an actual spaceship coming in. They've been seeing it barreling towards us for probably a year or two. I think they said it would be here soon. So, but again, rumors are always, there's a lot of shit that TikTokers create, and it goes viral, and people keep, reprinting, and there's no validity to it. So you gotta be careful as well. Well, there's a lot of things I thought were true, and thank God I Google it, and it's a lie. And then it's like, what the fuck? Why would you publish that knowing it's a lie? Because it can be fact checked. Just suggest going through and listen to all her talks on YouTube. You will learn so much. Oh, that's very sweet. Is it square? I don't know. It could be cylinder. It could be square. Does it really matter? What matters is who's in there. And so if I were you, I would just start manifesting really amazing, powerful, titanic starseeds who are here to fucking help us get out of this ritualistic imprisonment. I heard something about square ship. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Right on. Yeah. So I'll be moving. Well, not moving. I'll be uploading a lot, little by little. I'll be working hard on making sure that my videos are pretty much accessible in different platforms. Okay? Especially with YouTube asking for IDs. So I'm going to be very busy uploading stuff, doing the classes, doing other things, working with clients. And I think it's time for me to start working on the book, Starseeds Awakened, Why We Fell. So there's a lot going on for many of us. I need you to step up into your mission. I need you to follow your heart, follow whatever's in front of you, and handle that business. And I don't know why they're telling me this, but I always bring up this book. I have been bringing up this book damn near every other 3 lives. The Surrender Experiment, when Michael Singer talks about he wants to meditate in Alachua, Florida, because of his monkey mind, and these people come up to him and say, we saw your house, your A-frame house, we love it. Could you build us one? He's like, oh, fuck, I just want to meditate, damn it. And he goes, okay, I'll do it. And he ends up forming a company called Love's Construction. Am I correct, Jillian? Because I know you read the book. Love's Constructions. And then from there, read the book. That book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, is phenomenal. YouTube is asking for IDs. No. Yeah, YouTube is asking for IDs. Yes. They will at some point. I don't know when. I don't think the ship is real because they wouldn't travel the same way we would. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because in a sense you're right, because every time I saw souls going from different dimension to different dimension, they walk through portals. And not just me, by the way. I never shared that. People, look, just because people work with me doesn't mean that they see my videos. And we all seem to have the same visions of stepping through portals. It's the wildest thing. That's why, to me, 5D is going to be just stepping through portals. I mean, it's not like, look, let me ask you this. When we die, where do you think our soul goes? It goes, right? It travels. And so if that's true, if our body collapses. And if you've ever seen a person you loved, right, a dynamic, incredible person die in front of you, you know that the minute their breath is gone, after 30 to 45 minutes, you look back and the body, there's no connection to what, in other words, the soul that was in that body made the features, that personality. And once that soul is gone, that body doesn't look like that person that you loved. You still love the body, you still honor the body, prepare the body, don't get me wrong, there's still that. But what I mean is, you're sitting there looking at this person that you love from head to toe, or whoever it was, your mother, your father, or your lover, or whatever, and you realize whatever made that person whole and vibrant is definitely not in that body anymore. Okay, so where does the soul go? And how fast does it travel? And we were told, and I'm starting to realize that, we were told that there was a point where we needed to learn a lot. Many of us don't need to keep learning the same fucking lessons 160 different ways. And the only thing that's going to make us incarnate again, and I'll answer the question about where the soul goes in a minute, but the only thing that's going to make us incarnate again and again is our lack of self-worth, and there's humility and there's self-sabotage. Humility is saying, the more you know, the less you know. The more you learn, the less you know. Sabotage is saying, I don't know if I'm ready to go into 5D. I think I'll just keep in 3D for a while. That's self-sabotage. There's some people that clearly need to learn life lessons on this. They really are. They don't have empathy. As long as it doesn't happen to them, they don't give a fuck. That is a problem. That is not a 5D match, okay? But at some point, you have to realize that you really, really have learned a fucking lot. And now it's time to graduate. You are not going to stay in 6th grade for the rest of your life. You're now 6'4". You're too big for the little fucking school chairs. It's time to leave, okay? You're milking cookies. Yeah, you've outgrown everything, okay? So now it's time to graduate and go into high school, okay? In other realms, other dimensions, okay? Some people do need to stay and keep going because they're clueless. Some of them, and I'm not trying to be mean, they're fucking clueless. Some of them need to learn self-love, and they're not sick enough with the cycle of 3D to say, you know what, I'm worth more than this. It's kind of like leaving a bad relationship. I'm worth more than this, right? And then some of us, we're not arrogant. We're like, yeah, I think I'm going to miss the planet. Don't get me wrong, right? But I'm ready to move on. You know, like, it's kind of like an adult saying, God, I wish I could wear my shoes. How old were you when you wore them? Oh, I was 5. Well, how old are you now? 35. You can't wear those shoes. Those shoes it's for a 5-year-old kid. You've outgrown everything. So that's where many of us are. We've outgrown it. And we're not going to reincarnate on the hamster wheel of karma anymore, because we're not, with what we've learned in terms of not just the knowledge, but the self-acceptance, the self-love, the ability to see our shadows. We're no longer a match to 3D frequency. It's too dense. That's why more and more you're going to get more and more uncomfortable in this energy. It's too dense. Feels like the ceiling is on top of our heads. And so while you live your incarnation, you will enjoy 5D. Portals will open, and then you'll drop your body and you'll go to higher frequencies. And if you come, and I plan on coming back when it's 5D. Trust me, I love this planet. I love the diversity. I love the people. I love all the races. I love all the different types of consciousness in a 5D frequency. And there are other realms, and this is why some of the best books I've ever read on what the soul does before it incarnates, Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls by Michael Newton, are so important. I've read Dolores Cannon, and I find her books, and that's not to put her down. I think she has a lot of knowledge, and she shared a lot of wonderful things with the planet. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I find that Michael Newton's maybe the way he was so economical and what he shared, and it was so on point, like you would go, holy shit, like mic drop moments in his books. You're going to digest those books a lot faster, whereas her books were long, and they went into various realm where it might, like, for example, I read her part 1 and 2. I think there were 2 parts, if I remember, on Nostradamus. I'm obsessed with Nostradamus, okay? I've been studying him since I was about 13 on his quatrains. And so she did a whole thing on Nostradamus, and she had various hypnotherapy patients that were channeling Nostradamus. Yeah, on the first person, I was like, okay. Second person, I think she went through a third, and that's when I stopped listening to. I was like, no, I'm not buying this. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Do you know why I know that? Because the body, to take on a soul that could travel through time, it wasn't channeling. I don't know if you ever read the book, but what it was is he was traveling through time, bending time, right? To use the person as a conduit. I guess everything's possible, but a soul of that high frequency, that high knowledge, I don't think would be a match with just any body. In other words, the body would not be able to be a conduit to certain souls. Why do you think certain people can channel and other people's can't? Most of the people that can channel, if you watch Gaia.com and you look at the various people who claim they channel, some people you're like, oh yeah, that person's for real. And some people you go, that person's full of shit. They're not channeling at all. As a matter of fact, some people channel in such a way you're like, are you fucking for real? Like, really? And you know it's not real. I hope you know that. I'll give you an example. There's a woman that I'm not going to give you her name because honestly I don't know it, but it's IN has a small clip of it in his video, and she's yelling, "Hello, give me why I'm here," you know, that kind of, and saying shit you already know. Like, you are here to learn things because you need these lessons to advance. I didn't need a channeler to tell me that, thank you. So but there's this whole circus and pony show, you know what I mean? And it's insane. Now, Regina Meredith, who has a show on Gaia called Open Minds, she's very particular on who she allows on her show to channel. Like, she in her own right is a psychic, okay? And you know, I would even say so far as a master psychic. Okay, so with that said, so she, like Lee Harris has been on her show. He's for real. Theo, Shirley Silverstone, I think her name is. She's for real. Bashar, she had him on on her show. He never channeled in front of her. They just talked. And I found that was very interesting. I mean, you know, and but Lee Harris is for real. And there's no circus and pony show. Roxanne is a transgender who is on Gaia, who was interviewed by Rudy, who's got a whole show on channeling. He's for real. He's a little out there, but it's interesting. You can tell it's for real. But there was a couple people that Rudy interviewed, and he was going off the beaten tracks. You were like, oh no, these people are just grifters. And there are people that are going to be grifters that are accepted by the New Age community. They're going to be accepted as viable, and you have to decide for yourself. And by the way, when I share my opinions, this doesn't mean I'm correct, but it's correct for me. And Lee Harris really resonates with me. And so does Theo, Shirley, whatever her name is. I think Silverstone or something like that. Shelley. She's got white hair, sharp blue eyes. she looks like she's from another planet. She's pretty amazing. She's much older. She's probably in her 70s. Extraordinary looking, like striking looking woman. Like, yeah, yeah, that's the real thing. But some people know. No, they're making it up. And and the karma on that is unhinged. You can't do that. You can't lie about having a talent you don't have or skill set you don't have to make money to dupe the collective consciousness. That's a massive no-no. And this is why we're going to win, just so you know, on the side note of what's going on the planet with the censorship, the human rights violations all around the world, which censorship is a human rights violation, by the way. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Food, water, shelter is a human rights. It's being violated all around the world. We know that. So they're batting 100, the elite, and to lose their grip on the planet. They are no longer the caretakers of its people, nature, and its waters. They are now perpetrators of harm across the planet, which means the contract is now done. To get to the point of it. You see? So, great. What book was this? Let me see. I'm missing. Why are they putting a hold on your comments? Hang on. Mary, yeah, it looks like clay. It looks like clay when they die. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Someone said that Iran and Iraq was a Stargate and is a source of fighting. I believe it's Iran. A Stargate. Well, when they took Baghdad and they what is the word? They sacked. That's what I'm going to use. That's the right word. They sacked the Baghdad Museum. Do you know that in the Baghdad Museum they had the harp of Ur, which is mentioned in the Old Testament? The harp of Ur was in the Museum of Baghdad. There was other masks and artifacts that were mentioned in the Old Testament. American soldiers walked in, and it was like a shopping spree. It's almost like every elite had a fucking, get me that, get me this, get me that. Because it disappeared. See, we took Baghdad, and they claim the local yokels sacked the Baghdad Museum. I don't believe it for 1 second. Not one fucking second do I believe it. Not one. People, let me ask you this. You've just been conquered. Are you really going through the museum to go shopping, or are you running for your fucking life? Tell me what you would do. Would you really go ransack the museum? That's kind of probably out of your way, and you're hoping you have enough gas to take you as far fucking away from danger as possible. Just think for a second. So, yeah. So, I don't know about the Stargate, but I know they're not fighting for that. Let me see what else. Let me keep... What book was this? I'm not sure what book you mean. Ask me again, because I missed the... Some things need to be put an end to all this. Oh, it's ending. Trust me. We're watching it end, and it's very unpleasant. I think I have met my twin flame. That's good. What is sad to know we do this to others? That is sad to know we do this to others. No, we don't do it to others. We have nothing to do with that. So don't put yourself in the collective of bullshit. There's some... Why? Because if you do that, you're taking on karma that doesn't belong to you. You're getting entangled. When you say, we do this to others, do you really do this to others? I don't think so. So you don't say, it's sad that human beings do that to each other, or human beings that are evil. Like, we have to really, I'm going to tell you something about this timeline that I've noticed. We have to be very specific with our words. I do not consent to the elite controlling me and subjugating me and all of my brothers and sisters across the world that desire 5D. What I consent to is 5D Earth. What I consent to is our sovereignty. What I consent to is communities. What I consent to is habitation and peace and harmony and abundance. What I consent to is peace. And I do not consent to the barbaric leadership, and I want it done now. The soul contract on this planet in 3D is done with me. I am done with that. I actually have guided meditations on, you can do a soul contract, rewriting the soul contract. I did a whole live on that, where you literally rewrite a new soul contract with planet Earth. You rewrite a whole new soul contract with soul mates of your tribe. You rewrite a soul contract with God. And you rewrite a soul contract with your twin, if you have one. Because what I know for a fact is that we can't keep playing 3D template games expecting 5D template co-creation. That's not going to work. We have to smash away 3D templates and co-create and architect 5D template. Does that make sense? Right? So that's what we need to do. Anyway, I'm going to go. It's late. What time is it? What is it? Oh my God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Michael Singer's books are in the book. Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Thank you. So the books are The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, The Journey of Souls by Michael Newton, and his second book is Destiny of Souls by Michael Newton. You can actually see The Journey of Souls by Michael Newton on YouTube. The Audible is free. I think part 1 is free. At least you can kind of get an idea, and it should really inspire you to get the other Audibles. And I bought them all on Audibles because I love it. The Surrender Experiment, I probably am going to buy on a hardback. Paperback, whatever, on eBay. And I want to get Journey of Souls. I want to get those books because, I just want to make sure I have those in my library, But in terms of listening pleasure, doing your dishes, taking a long walk, those books are phenomenal. They really are. They're very pleasant to hear while you're doing this, that, and the other. I used to drive like massive amounts in my, before COVID lockdown, and and during, actually, come to think of it. But and so I would put on when I was driving from Northern California to Southern California, that's an 8-hour trip. I'd listen to one of these audibles. I mean, you might as well raise your frequency while you're driving. Those kinds of, So commuting, listening to those books while you're commuting is extraordinary. And it really is extraordinary because you'll go into, you'll show up to work all hyped up, all excited, And, do that and then get some hardbacks or whatever. Like Becoming Supernatural, I have the book and I have the Audible because sometimes you want to pause the Audible and go, let me read it because I really need to understand this on a deeper level or whatever, right? I'm just making this up. Like The Untethered Soul, I first read it with my beloved. He gave me that book as a gift. And then I listened to it on Audible, and then I read it again in other words, sometimes some of these books you want to read it again in different formats, again and again and again, because they're so, you always walk away with something else, a new aha moment, because like say, I'll give you an example, say in 2018 you read it, and then you read it again in 2025, and it's a whole new experience. Because you've changed, you've transformed. So I think it's good to have these in your library. All right, cool. So again, follow me on YouTube, join my Patreon. It's on my link tree. It's right there on the profile. The YouTube is a link that goes direct, but join my Patreon because depending on what happens with TikTok, definitely if you want to keep in touch. I'm going to keep throwing out these messages, and I might not do a live tomorrow, but I'll definitely do one on Tuesday. And I do them late at night for my European crowd. And then I do one usually in the late morning, early afternoon for my American crowd. So hopefully we'll all join together under one roof. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.